Hi everyone, thanks for stopping by and seeing what I'm up to. Let's take a check out Kevin's got going on. I apologize for not being here yesterday, but I had some things going on. Still working on this, getting my store back to where it was, and I got a lot going on. So, without further ado, stimulus check and a $1,200 stimulus check updates for 5/26/2020.
Hey everyone, Kevin here with your Tuesday stimulus update. I cannot believe what Kevin Hassett just suggested. Kevin Hassett is the White House economic advisor, and I think he might be taking cues from Donald Trump because on May 5th, Donald Trump suggested a possible capital gains tax reduction or alluded to a temporary elimination of that. Well, Kevin Hassett yesterday pitched, actually it was on late Sunday, pitched a temporary capital gains tax holiday, which, in case you're not familiar with exactly how that would work, think about this. If you bought a stock of Amazon at, let's say, $1,000, and now it's $2,500, and you sold it, you would have to pay taxes on $1,500 in gains, which means, wealthy people might have to pay $750 in taxes. People not as wealthy might have to pay, I don't know, somewhere around $500 in taxes, right? But there'd be a big tax hit if you sold your taxes, or if you sold your stocks after you made some money on it. Well, a temporary capital gains tax holiday, which was just pitched by Kevin Hassett, remember, White House economic advisor, would literally be the biggest, fattest possible stimulus that you could give to every rich person in America. Like, this literally, I feel like, only benefits the people who own stocks or real estate, which is kind of a theme on my channel. If you haven't noticed that yet, I talk about stocks and real estate.
Yes.
And how the reason the wealth gap between the rich and the poor keeps widening is because the rich people own assets like stocks and real estate. That's why I have a program on the psychology of money and real estate investing, right? To help people with $0 finally get on that ride, because it's ridiculous. Why is it that always happens, right? It's like the rich people get bailed out first. It should be the other way around. It's backwards. But anyway, that was really suggested by Kevin Hassett, a temporary capital gains tax holiday. It'd actually be interesting to see how that would potentially stimulate the economy. Although personally, I don't think it would. I think a lot of people are just going to sell all their assets, stay on the sidelines for, whatever mandatory minimum waiting periods, and then buy right back in. It'd be a mess, okay? But anyway, let's move on to a bigger story on stimulus and what's going on between Democrats and Republicans from the Journal this morning. Thank you to the Washington Post, by the way, for that information on Kevin Hassett. Now, before I quickly mention, or before I go into detail on what's going on with bipartisan support on something new here between Democrats and Republicans, I do just want to quickly remind you, well, not remind you, tell you that I actually ended up extending that coupon code down below for the programs through the end of the month, mostly because I got a ton of emails on the 24th when it was supposed to expire from people like, can we just extend it like 1 week? I just want to get paid one more time, or can we do a payment plan? The easiest thing to do for all of y'all is just extend it to the end of the month. So it's been extended. Check it out down below if you have not yet. Okay, I'll be going live after this video posts in the group. Okay, let's now go into what the Journal talked about. So the Journal ran something this morning talking about where bipartisan support is growing for the next type of stimulus. This is the article here, and it really talks about a wage subsidy. Let me go ahead and explain that, because the article itself doesn't make it very easy. All right, so here's basically what's going on. We know that Republicans are for smaller government, that is, generally less payments or no payments. That is, not so hot on that $600 unemployment boost, not so hot on that, not so hot on recurring stimulus, maybe even not so hot on stimulus at all, although it does look like they're convinced to be okay with potentially this other $1,200 stimulus check. Democrats, on the other hand, are pro all of these things, right? $600, the $2,000 per month stimulus proposals, at the very least, the $1,200 stimulus proposal. So for a lot of checks, less checks. Well, the middle is what matters, because that's how our government works. And, for the unfortunate case, not taking sides Democrat or Republican, just for the unfortunate case for more money, the Republicans have more power than Democrats. We know that. Well, so here's kind of the little middle ground right now. The middle ground is potentially something called a wage subsidy. And the way that works is it's called an employee retention credit. It already exists from CARES Act number 1. And it basically says that if an employer pays an employee like $10,000, the boss can get up to 50% back in the form of tax credit if their income, like the company's income, has gone below a certain threshold. Well, there's a new proposal in the HEROES Act that would say, hey, if your income's gone down as a business, like Disney, if your income's gone down, we'll go ahead, like the government will pay up to 80% of your wages for you in the form of giving you credits back. And it's like, whoa, Kevin, that's like really complicated. Yes, it is. That's why I'm not going to read the article to you. Not that I ever read your article. But the good thing about this is it helps businesses. Look, it's great for businesses. Any business with less than 1,500 employees gets to take advantage of this completely. Any business with more than 1,500 employees gets to partially take advantage of this. There are some limitations. It only applies to furloughed workers. But this is not so great for individual employees. So if you're an employee, bipartisan support for this is like a distraction. It doesn't mean anything to you. It's kind of worthless. It's also not so good for people who are obviously completely unemployed or on disability or whatever. So this, I imagine, would just be a part of the future round of stimulus. But it's something to keep an eye on because it's something that is gaining a lot of support right now between Democrats and Republicans. In fact, the top Republican who sits on the House Ways and Means Committee, which is just basically the committee that works on tax-related stuff, he's game for this. And other Republicans have already supported the expansion of this wage subsidy. So if you're completely confused, let me simplify it a different way. Basically, the government is saying, hey, yo, businesses, if you're making less money this year than you did last year, we will pay you to get your employees back. And this is different from the Paycheck Protection Program. You can actually use both. You can't double dip, but you can use both. You just have to kind of separate out the timing of it. It's more niche, right? But the point is, the government's coming in going, with this new potential plan, if it passes, hey, you know what? We'll pay up to 80% of your wages up to a certain point. That's great for companies like Disney or a lot of even small companies around town who want to take advantage of these credits. But I'll tell you, any of these like credits and payroll tax credits, they're really complicated. And I don't know that that's going to give us individuals as consumers confidence or even employees, right? Now, it could help our boss pay us things like tips or pay us to stand around and wait for people to show up. But it certainly doesn't give us individually more stimulus. And it's even going to be complicated for small businesses. So not so jazzed about that, not so jazzed that that's gaining a lot of bipartisan support, but it makes sense that they're talking about it heavily because it is a middle road. It is not a, more direct payments, and it is, more kind of leaning in that Republican direction. Again, still expecting that $1,200, still expecting to see some kind of extension of unemployment, though probably not a full-on $600 a week boost anymore. I think that would be good to have at least some kind of extension for that as our economy reopens, but this is sort of what we're seeing right now. Now, interestingly, the plan also gives money to employers to cover things like rent and other fixed cost expenses. And again, this would apply to gig economy workers as well. So it's also estimated that this would affect about 37% of all workers. And they see it as bipartisan because they see it as a cost-effective way of basically stimulating businesses who need the help, because it really only applies to businesses whose income has gone down this year, as opposed to anybody who could certify for the Paycheck Protection Program, for example. Now, I'd love to give a quick stock market update as well, but I do want to say one more thing about the next round of stimulus. Expect a busy week this week. I am expecting a lot more insight on exactly what Democrats and Republicans
You get one thumbs up.
Stay tuned for a lot more information. Regarding the stock market, obviously the market seems to be just exploding today. A lot of things are in the green. How about we buy a share of Amazon right now together? Let's go ahead and trade Amazon. We're going to buy one share of Amazon. You know what? Let's buy 2 shares of Amazon right now together. Okay? Let's go ahead and just buy it. We'll buy it. That's fine. Perfect. Confirm. All right. Pop it in. And there we go. Confirm. We just bought 2 shares, and it looks like the order already filled. There you go. So there you have it, folks. Thank you so much for watching. Please consider subscribing, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks everyone for stopping by and seeing what I was up to. We will be going a little bit different route soon. All about me and my reborn kit is here and I'm excited. Waiting on the paints. They should be here tomorrow. But I'm also going to start a weight loss journey. And I'm going to start it with all of you as my witnesses and as my viewers. The struggles and triumphs of one woman's battle against the bulge. Ha ha ha. All right, guys. Like, subscribe, and share. This is Silky, signing off. All right. Oh, yes, it makes me mad. I gotta make a mini window. Sorry about that. Like, subscribe, and share. Silky, signing off. Bye-bye.